Next up, let's move on to our, let's say, our first use case of the summit. We will be talking about how Zabbix helped transform an existing infrastructure and sort of consolidate multiple solutions in a single one in a large organization. Let's welcome Richard Germanus from CANCOM Journey. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. So usually when I'm on the stage, it feels a little bit different. There is not so much light. I hold the guitar in my hands. I stand like this, yeah. And all around me there are my bandmates, and we perform all together as a team. But even I'm standing here today alone, I know that one thing is the same, and it's the fact that my colleagues are here with me. They're in a crowd. They are sitting and supporting me. And I know that I'm going to present what we have achieved all together as a team. So as was mentioned, my name is Richard Germanus, and I'm the manager of the monitoring team at CANCOM. And today I would like to show you how we implemented enterprise monitoring solution within our company by using of the Zabbix. The project was pretty complex. Yeah, there are a lot of things to implement, so the presentation will be very high level. But if you are interested into the details, just scan the QR code. It will redirect you to our web page, and you can just contact us there, and you can meet us because the entire team is here, so you can talk about details. Good. Before we go to our Zabbix journey, I would like to tell you something about our company. So CANCOM is a German company. It was founded in '92. It started as a small garage company, but over the years it transformed into the corporate with 80 locations. We have them in Germany, Austria, Czech Republic, also Romania, and Slovakia. Slovakia is the country where I come from, and we are the second biggest location within our corporate. Our company provides the complex IT services to the customers mainly in the DACH region. Yeah? And besides of these complex IT services, we also are reselling the software and hardware, and the picture you can see on the slide, it's our factory. And there are stored over 250,000 devices ready to ship to our customers. Good, so I think it was enough about our company. Now let's dive into the Zabbix. So our Zabbix journey, how it started. So due to the growth of our company, we were in a need of consolidation 6 standalone monitoring applications into the central monitoring solution. We did a complex research of the applications that were available on the market, and strategically we have decided to go for the Zabbix, yeah? And I think it was a really good decision to go for it, yeah? You can see that we have 250 plus customers monitored, and we are supported by the INITMAX using the enterprise tier of the support. Good, so over the 2 years, from 23 to 25, we were able to consolidate these legacy monitoring systems, but it was not just the migration, but also onboarding of the new customers. In the end, it resulted into the 30,000 of monitored hosts, so it's really big environment. And besides of the number of monitored hosts, I would like to show you some interesting values. I would like to highlight number of the templates, because we have almost 2,000 templates. It's really so much. And also more than 600 users. Remember these numbers, because soon I will speak something about this. Good, so what about our landscape, about our infrastructure? So the central layer, it's completely hosted in CANCOM data centers, but the proxies and the monitor hosts, this differs. We have them in CANCOM, but we have also a lot of them on a customer premises. You can see we speak about 180 plus proxies. And all these proxies, this entire environment needs to be managed by our team. So for such a huge environment, it wouldn't be possible to do it just like that without any process. So we have the landscape management implemented, and within the landscape management, we have 2 parts. First is capacity management. Yeah, so we use combination of the Zabbix dashboards, where we are watching the values that are important, and in combination with the project pipeline, we set the capacity measures. Yeah, so for example, if we know there is a new customer inquiry that will be onboarded in 3 or 4 months, and we know that they will use the shared CANCOM proxy, and we see that it needs some, let's say, increasement of the resources, we simply do it in advance to avoid, let's say, any problems. Besides of the capacity management, we have also lifecycle management. We rely on a CANCOM process of the lifecycle management. So when we speak about the software, it mainly applies to the operational systems of the machines where our Zabbix is running on. And we also look to hardware because we are using the physical hardware for our database. So we need to watch end of life. Yeah? Because for 30,000 hosts of 250 customers, if this hardware would be end of life, it would be disaster. Yeah? And yes, we also standardize configuration within our infrastructure. For example, for the proxies, we have standard configs. For the CANCOM proxies, we use the Linux Red Hat. And for the on-prem proxies, we have the image standardized, where is Linux Rocky. Yeah, Rocky Linux. So, and this is simply provided to the customers and seamless installation is done. Of course, we also categorize proxies simply to, let's say, 2 tiers, small and big, to use the resources efficiently, to not waste them, and so on and so on. And the entire infrastructure is orchestrated by Ansible and Puppet, and this is with goal to, let's say, achieve seamless upgrades and all the mass actions on the infrastructure. Good, so that was about our environment. And I would say we all can agree on one fact. If we want to provide reliable monitoring service to our customers, the first prerequisite is to have the powerful environment. But in our case, at the beginning of the 23, we were in a situation where we had the slow environment. We have been facing a lot of unexpected outages. And it was due to the fact that that original environment, it was not built for such a huge scale. Yeah, because we transformed former small environment into the enterprise. So it was clear to us that we need to establish powerful environment. And the second thing that was clear to us, that without professional support, it would be a very risky way to go for. So while we have been searching for the vendor, we started a stabilization project. We implemented several measures that are listed here on a slide, and it led to the decrease of the NVPS value from sometimes even 10K to 6K. This was crucial value in our case, because when we were hitting 9K, our Zabbix was falling down, and it was really bad. So by these safeguarding actions, we have achieved the state when it was quite okay, but just in a short term. And we knew that we needed, let's say, a long-term professional plan. So in the middle of the 23, we started a cooperation with these guys, INITMAX, yeah. And yeah, so our cooperation started with a 2-day workshop where Tomáš and also Alois traveled to Košice, and we spent nice time together. A lot of things were already fixed and implemented at the venue, but the main outcome was the analytical report of our environment that suggested conceptual change. And this conceptual change consisted of 2 parts. The first was the hardware recommendations, and here the main recommendation was to switch from the virtual storage of the database to the physical one. And then, if we look to software recommendations, you can see the landscape design, CMO versus FMO. It was mainly about the consolidation of the software, so we got rid of the H proxy cluster, and then we also consolidated PG bouncer, yeah, and a lot of, let's say, settings on a software level and so on. Okay, I already mentioned what we did, but before we, let's say, did proceed with this Zabbix rebuild, there was another thing which was important. So it required really a huge investment for this database. And since we are a corporate, it was needed to also prove to our senior management that this investment is really needed. Unfortunately, they understood there was a huge risk, because imagine we had like 12,000 of monitor devices. It was continuously growing to those 30,000, and the risk was if we achieve 19K, we could lose the monitoring data, and it would be bad, yeah, for our service we provide to customers. So our senior management understood this risk. They approved the investment, and we executed the rebuild. This rebuild led really to the significant improvement of the situation. By the way, this use case is also on the INITMAX pages, so now you can scan this QR code. And if you are interested, you can just read the article and also watch the nice video. Good, so as mentioned, after this Zabbix rebuild, we finally had this strong and powerful environment. And one interesting fact that really represents this change. So remember this number of the users, 622. It was even more before. So when they wanted to go to the front end of the Zabbix and just to load the dashboard, simple dashboard or something, some simple page, it took them even 60 seconds to load this page. Sometimes it went to the timeout, and they were super angry, like, what is it, yeah? And after this Zabbix rebuild, it downgraded to the 6 seconds. Now it's even better, of course, because we did a lot of other changes, but this brought significant change within our organization. From this point, more colleagues were, let's say, talking more positive things about the Zabbix. Yeah? And this exactly brings us to another thing, from technical to logistical part of the Zabbix operation within our company. So we needed to empower our employees to use the Zabbix because they were used to work in an Nagios or Xymon, Isinga, Centrion, and all these old tools. And you know, people sometimes don't like the changes, yeah? So that was the first factor, that Zabbix rebuild, that motivated them. But then we also understood, since we have a lot of users, that we need to train them. So with support of the INITMAX, we trained 54 employees. So we have now 54 certified employees within the Zabbix. We have 3 experts, by the way. But of course, it was not possible to train with the official certification all of them. So on top of this training, we also created internal Zabbix training, and this is focusing mainly on our standards. Because for such a huge environment, we need to follow standards like naming convention, how we create the templates, how we create the groups, and so on. So it's really like everyone goes one way and stick to these standards. And exactly for these standards, we have this internal training. Good. And how our working model is working within the managed services. So you can see the circle in the middle. This represents our organization, and on the bottom there is a monitoring team. That's us. We are 10 people. We are responsible for the maintenance of our infrastructure, for its improvement, development. We also create the templates, and we also consult the creation of the templates with other Zabbix users within the company. We communicate directly to INITMAX, and INITMAX is connected with the Zabbix, so this communication is made this way. And let's go back to our organization. We have product users. We differentiate them between technical users and non-technical users. Technical users, you can imagine, like we have Linux team, network team, Windows team, and so on. They are using Zabbix. And then we have non-technical users. Those are mainly the service management, and this is the communication gate to our customers. So for example, if there is a new customer or existing customer would like to do some changes on the monitoring, they communicate through the service managers to us. And service managers, they should handle also the financial part, logistical part, and then we do the implementation. Good. For this complex working model, we needed to implement special user concept within the Zabbix because the built-in roles in Zabbix were not enough for us. Like we needed to have something like the semi-admin role. So the admin that can edit hosts, can remove them, can do some simple operational modification, but cannot change the template. We speak about the hundreds of the users. Therefore, we created this special operational role that is granted for these technical guys. So if we go from left, so super admin we use for our internal core monitoring team, it's just us, and then we have admin and operational user. And those technical teams, they have like few key users with the admin role that can change the templates, create templates, and so on. But the rest of the guys, they have just the operational role, so they don't touch the templates, and we decrease the risk of the human error by this. Because in the past, it happened They needed to do just some simple change on the monitoring, and by mistake with admin role, they touched the template and they corrupted, let's say, something, and it affected also other customers and so on. So therefore, we implemented this special operational role. Besides of this, for the super admin and admin, we have the internal process with the exam, and only those colleagues that can, let's say, pass this exam can be granted by these admin roles, and this is simply the quality gate process internally. How our Zabbix roles and groups and so on are connected with our Active Directory, yeah, with the CMDB of the CANCOM. So imagine there is a new employee within our company and he is in the network team. He is assigned to the network assignment group in our Active Directory, and it's automatically, let's say, transferred to the Zabbix. So this new guy is granted by the operational rights in a Zabbix, and he can see just the host that belongs to the network. And this is automated, so no manual action is needed in this case. Good. Now I would like to go to some integrations we have in a Zabbix. First one is integration with Power BI. We use this integration for two use cases. The first one is capacity and availability reporting for our customers, and then also monitoring catalog. How this integration works? So, source of the data is Zabbix, of course, and on a daily basis, we push this data from Zabbix to the standalone reporting database where they are collected, so it's separated, yeah. And then these data are visualized in a Power BI dashboard internally for our employees. And if we want to deliver their data to the customers, we do the paginated PDF exports that are stored in a CANCOM Cloud portal, which is central access point for the services we provide to our customers. Good. So let me tell you something about our monitoring catalog. 1.8K of the templates, 250K customers, you need standards. And we needed really to have the monitoring catalog because in the past, a lot of users just created the templates here and there, and we had a lot of, and we still have some duplicate templates. So we wanted to standardize them and to be able to show to the customer what we can monitor, what we can offer if you order. So how we use the templates? We use linked templates, and we differentiate between scenario and module. Scenario is just an empty template without any items that consolidates all the modules that are respective for the scenario. And module is created to monitor just concrete just concrete resource, yeah, or component. And example, there is a Linux monitoring service sold. And imagine we have minimal Linux scenario and we have a standard Linux scenario. In a minimal Linux scenario, you have 4 modules, and those same 4 modules are also in the standard scenario plus others. So this way, we just reuse those modules in different scenarios, and this is very, very needed in our case, because then those modules can be, let's say, really used for the customers. Customers, they have many times special requests. We offer standards, but sometimes they want something special here and there, and therefore we use this logic, yeah? Good. Then, how we get to the monitoring catalog? So we have standard requirements. We are using something like the identification tags, and if these identification tags are assigned to the templates, then it's checked by the script, and it's automatically transferred into this reporting database, and then it's visualized in the monitoring catalog. And how this catalog looks like. So this is the Power BI dashboard and the catalog, and you can see we have the classes. By class, you can understand the OS, database, or hardware, and so on. These are fixed. And then we have respective scenarios, modules, items, and triggers. So if customer desires, let's say, hey, CANCOM, please show me, what is monitored on my network systems? We just export by the PDF. We just export PDF. Here you go. Yeah, this is monitored by the standard. Good, so that was monitoring catalog. And the last integration, it's the CANCOM Cloud Portal and Monitoring Hub. So what is CANCOM Cloud Portal? As mentioned a few minutes ago, it's central access point for our customers mainly, but also for our employees, and there are all the services provided to our customers. I would like to focus on the managed services because that's the organization where I'm come from, and two respective services, so the reporting and monitoring hub. Reporting, it's simply the storage of the monthly reports where the customers can simply search them, and it's also, they don't need to store them locally, they always will find them there, and it's of course stored for the logical period of time, usually 1 year backwards. But monitoring hub, what it is and why we decided to go for it. So we understood that Zabbix is really powerful tool. We can do what we want there, but it's also very complex. And with so many users in a Zabbix that we have, it brings risk that we give them the administration rights and they can corrupt the things. So we have decided to shrink the number of the users in a Zabbix really to those professionals that understand the Zabbix and those people that know what they are doing in a Zabbix. And for the simple operational tasks, like removal of the host, maintenance, and so on, we decided to create the monitoring hub, which is the API extension of the Zabbix, and while still Zabbix is working in the background. Yeah, so therefore we decided to go for this, and I would like to say we are in the development phase. We are at the beginning. Our goal is to release the minimal viable product by end of this year. Internally within CANCOM, of course. And what's the goal? So there will be this dashboard landing page, and it will be accessible to customers, and these monitoring catalogs experts, they will be able to download from here. And then the internal part for our employees will be, there will be more, but for example, now we have this host view. So for example, the employee of the Windows technical team. Imagine he is responsible mainly for the maintaining of the OS layer, that's prior 1 tasks, and prior 2 task is to work in monitoring. So even employee who have zero knowledge of the Zabbix can operate Zabbix by this super easy friendly interface, those operational tasks, without any knowledge, yeah? So they can go here, they can simply search for the host by the customer, by the keywords in key letters in a host names, because let's say there is a search engine, and those simple actions like state management or alarm management and so on, they can do here. They can do also maintenance, and this is critical. This is critical in our case, because as we are corporate, we follow ITIL processes, and for example, we need audit log that is, let's say, easily readable. And when we wanted to use, for example, direct Zabbix audit log, it was, let's say, complicated to search for the information. And therefore, we, for example, created this one. And if the employee will create the maintenance here, in a title, he will write the number of the ticket based on ITIL process. And the goal is that it will be reconnected with our ticketing tool, so they will just click to the subject of the maintenance, it will redirect them to the ticketing tool, they will understand the customer reason behind why there was the maintenance set, and even those users that don't have the maintenance role in a Zabbix, they will be able to find which maintenance was set for the customer here in the monitoring hub. Another reason why we also went for this monitoring hub was that right now this operational role within the Zabbix, also for the maintenance, like we needed the role that can just see the maintenance but cannot set the maintenance. And we implemented some, we call them dirty hacks and adaptation of the code of the Zabbix, but we want to avoid this. We want to have the isolated Zabbix powerful environment without any super adaptations. So when we go for the upgrade, we don't need to take care about these special implementations, and we can seamlessly upgrade the Zabbix. So therefore, we decided to go for the monitoring hub. Good. at the end of my presentation, I would like to show you our team, these pretty faces, yeah. So I would like to say big thank you guys, every single one person on this slide. You made a significant part in our Zabbix implementation and in our project. They are sitting here in a fourth row, so I would like to ask you to make one applause for them. Thank you. Unfortunately, this guy is not here with us because he broke his leg on the bike. So, Emil, I'm sending a hi to you. The greetings from Riga. And, okay, so, as mentioned, I believe this was inspirational for you. If you are interested to meet us, to talk about details, how we implemented which part of the project, just scan the QR code and just meet us at the venue. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We do have a question for you, actually a couple of questions. First off, what do you use to send data to the reporting database based on tags? Native connector or something custom?
I'm just a manager. But we have, you can meet us, we have my technical guys here, and exactly the guy, Jan Milkovic, which is responsible for this solution, can explain this, yeah? So just contact him on the QR code and he will answer this one.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for the great solution.